Hello folks, this is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball, the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers for the drawing on October 14th, 2020. If you'd like to get my game Decoding the Powerball, then please go to my Patreon page at www.patreon.com/Decoding the Powerball. Thank you and please subscribe. Okay, so the object of my game is for you to correctly eliminate groups of numbers. There's 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. Only 5 numbers can come up as winners, so that means 64 numbers can't come up at all. So for me, I think it should be easier to pick the numbers that won't be coming up than the 5 that actually do. So to help me do that, I'm going to turn to the 5 strategies of my game. So strategies 1 and 2, the game card color code, and the 50-50 picks. Okay, so if you never seen my videos before, why I make them is to show you on how to use my game. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the game card. This is a format that I came up with that represents the 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize of the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage. And the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 5, 18, 23, 40, and 50. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers and I put it at the top of this list. And now we're going to find out what colors they were. Okay, so the 5 was green, the 18 was red, the 23 was orange, the 40 was blue, and the 50 was purple. So I'm going to color these in. So again, the 5 was green, the 18 was red, the 23 was orange, the 40 was blue, and the 50 was purple. So now I'm going to count how many colors I have. So I got 1 purple, 1 blue, 1 orange, 1 red, 1 green for 5 colors total. Okay, so up here I'm going to make this 483 color code drawings I kept track of so far. And now a 5 color combination has now come up 17 times. Okay, so what I want you to focus on here is the 3 color combination. You can see that this has come up 248 times out of 483 drawings. So if you do some quick math, you're going to see that a 3 color combination comes up more than half the time. Okay, and to me that's huge because long term, if I just keep on picking a 3 color combination, I know statistically I'm going to be correct more than half the time. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a new game card. So I'm going to get rid of all these colors and start from scratch. Okay, so my color code is right here. Here's the red numbers, the orange, green, blue, and whatever's left over is purple. So what I did is I took the 69 white ball numbers, I divided them by 5 colors, and that's 1 color for each of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. And that equals 13.8. So my goal is to get as close to as 13 or 14 numbers per color as possible, or a good representation of each color. Okay, so again, I'm going to start in with the red numbers here. Now the red numbers are the last 3 drawings of numbers. And the reason why this is because this will give me a maximum of 15 numbers. Okay, so again, I'm going to start in with the 5, the 18, the 23, 40, and 50. The next line down is the 6, the 24, the 30, 53, and 56. And the last line is the 18, which is already taken, so the 31, the 36, the 43, and the 47. Okay, so now I'm going to make these red numbers. And now I'm going to count how many red numbers are on my game card here. So over here I got 2, and 3 are 5, 3 more are 8, 2 are 10, and 4 are 14. So up here I'm going to make this 14. Up here it tells me of how many of each color I have on the game card. Okay, so moving on to the orange area, I'm going to start in with the 14. The 18 is already taken. The 36 is already taken. So the 49 and 67. The next line down is the 11, the 21, the 27. The 36 is already taken, so the 62. The next line down is the 8, the 17, The 49's already taken, so the 52 and the 59. And the last line is the 11, which is taken, the 14 is taken, the 23 is taken, the 47 is taken, and that leaves the 57. So again, I'm going to make these orange. And now I'm going to count how many orange numbers are on my game card here. So over here I got 5, and 4 are 9, 1's 10, and 2 are 12. So up here I'm going to leave this alone at 12. Okay, so now I move on to the green, then the blue, and then whatever's left over is purple. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like for October 14th, 2020. So again, there was 14 red numbers, 12 orange, turned out to be 13 green, 18 blue, and 12 purple numbers. Okay, so again, more than half the time, a 3-color combination comes up. So that means more than half the time, 2 colors are not coming up, and that's what I want to focus on here. So again, the object of the game is to eliminate groups of numbers. So the strategy here is try to correctly guess what color group will not be coming up and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I do want to point out that all 5 colors do come up. It's come up 17 times out of 483 drawings. So it comes up, but it's very rare. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a prediction on what color group will not be coming up. And to help me make a decision, I'm going to turn to the next strategy called the 50-50 picks. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the 50-50 picks. So again, there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so that means there has to be a majority of either odd numbers or even numbers, or numbers to the high side or numbers to the low side. So I like to keep track of this and try to correctly guess what the majority will be for the upcoming drawing. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do here is make this 524. This is how many drawings I kept track of so far, and basically this goes back to October 7th, 2015. That's when the Powerball lottery went from 59 numbers to 69 numbers. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is go back to the game card to find out how many odd and even numbers have come up. Okay, so I got an odd, even, even. Okay, so 3 even numbers, 2 odds. And now I'm going to make this, well, first of all, I'm going to highlight the majority, which is evens, and now I'm going to make this 250. So out of 524 drawings, 274 drawings have come up the majority of odd numbers, and 250 drawings have come up the majority of even numbers. Okay, so to help me make a decision on what's going to come up, I like to break things down into 5. Okay, so out of this 5 drawings right here, you can see that the majority was odd numbers, 5 drawings to 0. Before that it was odds, and then it was evens, odds, evens, odds, evens, evens. Okay, so it's been going back and forth. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to predict that more even numbers are going to come up. Okay, now the reason why, for me, and I just want to say that, you know, we're all going to look at this differently. So we're all going to come up with a different result. Okay, but for me, I look at this and I see a 4-to-1 here, and as I keep on scrolling down, here's another 4-to-1 that hasn't come up in a while, and then a couple of them come up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to predict that this is going to be 4-to-1 right here. Okay, and in order for it to be 4-to-1, another even numbers have to be the majority. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to say that more even numbers are going to come up than odd. And now I'm just going to write that down just to remind myself what I picked. So again, I think more even numbers are going to come up than odd. So moving on. I have 3 more of these in the 50-50 picks. I have high and low, left and right, in this red and blue area. Okay, so for this high and low, first thing I want to point out that this is very close at 263 to 261. And as I scroll down, you can see that the last 15 drawings here have been to the low side. So I'm going to predict that this is going to be more to the high side. Okay, so here we go again with this 4-to-1, 4-to-1. Okay, and I'm going to predict that this is going to be 3-to-2 here. Okay, so in order for it to be 3 to 2, more high numbers have to come up than low. Okay, so all the numbers in blue are considered low, all the ones in red are considered high. And again, I think more numbers in the red are going to come up than the blue. Okay, so in other words, when I go to eliminate numbers, I'm going to be looking at this blue area to eliminate numbers because I only think there's going to be a maximum of 2 numbers here. So I'm going to write that down as well. Again, just to remind myself what I picked. And I'm going to say more high numbers than low. Okay, so moving on to this left and right here. As I scroll down, you can see that it's been 5, 10, 15, 20 drawings. The last 20 drawings have been to the left side. So I'm going to predict that this stays to the right side and wins the majority. Okay, so I think more numbers are going to be over here to the left. To the right. And when I go to eliminate numbers, I'll be looking over here to the left side to eliminate numbers. So I'm going to write that down as well. More to the right side than the left. And the last one I have is this red and blue area. Now, looking at this, red has been coming up a lot recently, okay? And it's 281 to 243. But the last 4 drawings have been to the blue, so I'm going to predict that more numbers to the red are going to come up than blue. So again, when I go to eliminate numbers, I'm going to be looking in this blue area to eliminate numbers. So I'm going to write that down as well. More to the red than the blue. Okay, so now I'm going to make my prediction on what color group will not be coming up. And I decided to go with no orange numbers. Okay, so another thing that helps me make a decision here is looking at the past colors that have come up. Okay, so here I can see that an orange number has come up in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the last drawings. And I'm going to predict that no orange numbers are going to come up just like here. Okay, so you can't see any orange numbers here. So I'm going to block these orange numbers out. So when I block out numbers like this means I'm not even going to consider these numbers when I'm picking what I think would be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm spending $3 on a Powerball ticket, which includes the Power Play. Okay, so in other words, I'm betting $3 that none of these orange numbers will come up in the next drawing. So if I'm correct with my bet and none of these orange numbers come up, then I'm one step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so I'm moving on to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 3, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers. Okay, so basically what I did here is I took all 69 numbers and I divided them into 7 different groups. Okay, so as you read this here, this is group number 1. This holds the numbers of 1 through 9. This is the only group with 9 numbers where the other 6 have 10 for 69 numbers. Okay, so how you read this is over here to the left. These are the numbers that just came up. Again, it was the 5, 18, 23, 40, and 50. And this 5 tells me that it hit 5 out of the 7 groups. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is highlight this 5. Okay, so I'm going to follow this plane until I find the 5. And now I'm going to make this square green. Now I'm making it green because the 5 is green, and the 5 is green because the color code said it was green. Okay, so how you read this is this big square right here. This is good for 5 drawings. Again, I like to break things down into 5 so it shows me that majority, but here I did it for a couple different reasons. Okay, the first reason is that when I go back into the history of things, it's certainly easier to count going 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on. Okay, but my theory is that if there's a lot of hits within this 5 drawings, then maybe there won't be so many hits in the next 5 drawings, or vice versa. Okay, so what I like to do now is reduce this down so you can see the whole card. And again, there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers, and there's 7 different groups here. So I know that two of these groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. So again, the strategy is try to correctly guess what group will not have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so again, we're all going to look at this differently, but for me, I'm going to go with no numbers of 10 through 19. Okay, now you can see how hot these numbers have been over the last 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 drawings. And I think it's time to cool down. So I'm going to predict that no numbers are going to be right here. So I'm going to go back to the game card and I'm going to eliminate the numbers of 10 through 19 off of my game card. So again, I'm going to blow this back up. Go back to the game card. And find the numbers of 10. Here's the 12, 13, 15, 16. The 17 is gone, so the 18 and 19 are right here. So I'm going to block those numbers out, and hopefully those numbers do not come up. Okay, so here's the thing. If I made the correct pick so far, and no orange numbers come up from the color code, and now no numbers of 10 through 19 come up from the individual numbers, then the 5 correct winning Powerball numbers still have to be left here on my game card as a highlighted number. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 4, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 1. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 1 numbers. Okay, so basically what I did here is I took all 69 numbers and I divided it into 4 different color groups. Okay, so I used the colors of red, blue, orange, green. Now I have 15 of these option cards. This is option card number 1. And I used all the same colors, again, as red, blue, orange, green for all 15 option cards. It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other, from each different option card. Okay, so I left option card 1 and 2 blank so I could update them for you. Okay, so again, the winning numbers that just came up were the 5, which is here in blue, the 18 in red, the 23 in blue, the 40 in green, and the 50 in orange. Okay, so again, I had 1 in the red, the 18, 2 in the blue, the 523, 1 in the orange, the 50, and 1 in the green, the 40. So when all 4 colors get represented, I call this a row. So if there's a hit, I color the background red for hot. And if there's a miss, I color the background blue for cold, like right here in this orange. Okay, so the strategy is try to correctly guess where these zeros are going to pop up. Now in the last drawing, if I could have correctly guessed that no orange numbers were going to come up, I could have eliminated all these numbers and gave myself a much better chance at winning some kind of prize in the Powerball lottery. Okay, so I'm going to make this a 9. So this tells me that one of these blue numbers have come up in the last 9 drawings. And this 128, this tells me how many zeros. I only count the zeros here. So there's 128 zeros in this column here. Okay, so moving on. Option card number 2. I'm going to update this one as well. Then the rest are all set. So again, the winning Powerball numbers were the 5 in orange, the 18 in red, the 23 in green, the 40 in green, and the 50 in red. Okay, so I had 2 red numbers, the 1850. I had no winning Powerball numbers in the blue. I had 1 in the orange, the 5. And I had 2 in the green, the 2340. So again, if there's a hit, I color the background red for hot. And if there's a miss, I color the background blue for cold. Here I'm going to make this 119. Okay, so now I want to tell you that the reason why I used all the same colors as red, blue, orange, green is so I can have a group 1 overview. And this is it right here, okay? So again, I have 15 option cards. So that means I have 15 red areas, 15 blue areas, and so on, okay? so here I only count the zeros, or the blue marks. Okay, so here in the red area, out of 15 option cards, 15 red areas, 4 of them had a 0 to it. 3 in the blue, 4 in the orange, and 2 in the green. Okay, so you can see that here's a 7 with a background of blue, and here's a 3 with a background of red. Okay, so the reason for the difference is I said to myself, okay, I have 15 option cards. If a third of the option cards come up with a 0 in that certain color group, I'm going to color the background blue for cold. If 4 or less come up with a 0 in that certain color group, I'm going to color the background red for hot, just to give me some separation. So if I can correctly guess where a blue mark is going to pop up, I'm going to look at that certain color group to pick where I think the zeros are going to be, because I think there's going to be at least 5 of them. Okay, so I think that's going to happen here in this blue area. So I'm going to look at the blue areas to pick where I think a 0 is going to be. Okay, so my first prediction is going to be option card number 10, no blue numbers. Okay, so here's option card number 10. Now, the reason why I'm picking this one, and again, we're all going to look at this differently. But for me, if a 0 is going to be here, then I'm going to be putting a 1 right here. And for some reason, a 1 comes up a lot. Okay, so as I look at the other areas, you can see how many times a 1 has come up here. Okay, and again, it just comes up a lot. Okay, and in this blue area, it hasn't come up in a while. Right here, as a matter of fact. Okay, so it's been a long time since a 1 has come up in this blue area here. So I'm going to predict that it's due to happen. So I'm going to predict that the 0 is going to be right here, and I'm going to get rid of these blue numbers off of my game card. And it's all the same pattern of the 4, 10, 18, 28 in all 4 squares. So I'm going to get rid of the 4, the 28, the 66, the 22, 32. I'm also going to get rid of the 8, which is already gone. I'll get rid of the 36, 42, 50, and 60, and the 40, 46, 54, 64. Okay, so I'll get rid of all those numbers, and hopefully they do not come up. Okay, so as you look at my game card here, you can see that I have 5 numbers over here to the left, and as I go back to this group 1, you can see I have no numbers over here to the left. Okay, so what I really wanted was this grid of 8 squares across and 8 squares down, but that's only good for 64 numbers, and of course there's 69 in the Powerball lottery. Okay, so what I decided to do was pair a couple of these squares up. Like the 8 shares the square with the 66, the 19 with the 67, the 25, 65, 53, 69, and 58, 68. So if I get rid of all these blue numbers like I'm doing, I'm going to get rid of the 8 and the 66 along with all these other blue numbers as a group. So this is my way of grouping up numbers here. Okay, so my next pick is going to be option card number 15, no blue numbers. Okay, so the reason why I'm picking this one is that here's a single 0, single 0, single 0, okay? Now every once in a while these zeros tend to double up. Okay, so here I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 14 zeros before, or 14 single zeros before it doubled up here. So I'm going to predict that this is due to double up, and I believe the 0 is going to be right here, so I'm going to get rid of all these blue numbers off of my game card. Okay, so it starts with the 110 and the 13, 6. So I'll get rid of the 128, and I'll get rid of the 6. Okay, so that's the second half is I'm going to get rid of the 33, the 36, 43, 52, and the 61, 54, 63. So I'll get rid of the 43, the 61, 63, 56. So I'll get rid of all those numbers, and hopefully those numbers do not come up. Okay, so I just like to say that this is very hard to pick. There's lots of variables here with the rows, okay? So I only like to pick one or two of these. I don't like to go hog wild on picking where these zeros are going to be. So again, I only like to pick one or two. And again, they're very hard to pick, but if you could get a couple of these correct, you could really knock out a bunch of numbers for yourself, giving yourself a much better chance at winning some kind of prize in the Powerball lottery. Okay, so moving on to the last strategy. Strategy number 5, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 2. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 2 numbers. Okay, so much like group 1, where I divided things into 4 different color groups, here I divided things into 8 different color groups. Okay, so maybe you heard the saying, divide and conquer. Okay, so this is just another way of looking at groups of numbers. Except with this one, I know that there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers, and there's 8 different color groups. So I know that 3 of these color groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. So again, the strategy is try to correctly guess what color group will not have the winning Powerball number to it, and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. So here I have 15 option cards as well. This is option card number 1, and I used all the same colors as red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow, just so I could have that group 2 overview as well. And again, the numbers that I used is just a little bit different from each other, from each different option card. Okay, so I left option card 1 and 2 blank on purpose so I could update them for you. Okay, so again, the winning numbers were the 5, which is here in purple, the 18 in blue, the 23 in gray, the 40 in yellow, and the 50 in blue. So I always like to read this left to right like a book. So I got 2 in the blue, the 1850. Then I have 1 in the purple, the 5, 1 in the gray, the 23, and 1 in the yellow, the 40. So I got 2 blue, 1 purple, 1 gray, 1 yellow. So as I come down here to current, I had no winning Powerball numbers in the red area, 2 in the blue, the 1850, no winning Powerball numbers in the orange, no winning Powerball numbers in the green, 1 in the purple, that 5, no winning Powerball numbers in the brown, 1 in the gray, that 23, and 1 in the yellow, that 40. Here I count how many groups got hit, so I got 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the majority of the numbers are over here to the right side, so I'm going to keep this 4 green. If the majority of the numbers are over here to the left side, I will color this 4 red. Okay, so here again, I like to break things down into 5, so it shows me that majority. So here, you can see that the majority has already been won by zeros or misses, so I colored the background blue for cold. Here the majority has been won by hits, so I'm going to color the background red for hot. And these are on the verge, so I'm just going to have them stick out with a yellow. It tells me that it's 50-50 here. Okay, so the strategy is try to correctly guess again where this zero is going to be. Okay, so my prediction is that the 0 is going to be here in this orange. Okay, so you can see that, this went on a pretty good run of 5, 10, 11, 12, 13 drawings in a row. So I'm going to predict that it's going to miss a couple drawings in a row. Okay, another thing that helps me is look how red this is over here. Okay, so this tells me that over on this left side, the winning Powerball numbers have been coming up a lot. So now I'm going to predict that it's going to be over here to the right side, that more Powerball numbers are going to come up. Okay, and that's what I said on my 50-50 picks as well, more to the right side than the left. Okay, so now I'm going to get rid of these orange numbers. Again, I think the 0 is going to be right here, and those orange numbers represent the 3 down to the 59. So I'm going to go back to the game card, and I'm going to get rid of the 3, the 35, and the 51. And hopefully those numbers do not come up. Okay, another reason why I picked this orange is that you can see that all these orange numbers are odd numbers, and I think more even numbers are going to come up overall. Okay, so that's another reason why I picked the orange. Okay, so moving on, I'm going to update this option card number 2, then the rest are all set. Okay, so again, the winning Powerball numbers were the 5 here in red, the 18 in orange, the 23 in orange, the 40 in purple, and the 50 in gray. So I got 1 red, 2 orange, 1 purple, 1 gray. And as I scroll down here to current, again I had 1 in the red, that 5. No winning Powerball numbers in the blue, 2 in the orange, the 1823. No winning Powerball numbers in the green, 1 in the blue, that 40. No winning Powerball numbers in the brown, 1 in the gray, that 50, and no winning Powerball numbers in the yellow. Again, how many groups got hit? I got 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the majority of the numbers are over here to the left side, so I'm going to leave that for red. And now I see more red numbers than green, so I'm going to highlight the background red. Okay, so over here, I'm going to do the same thing. I got 2 that are on the verge. This one and this one that are, the majority is misses. And I got this and this one, the majority of hits. Okay, so over here to the right, this 4, I only count the red mark. So I got 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is something that I could use to say, okay, you know, is this going to be a 3 here? Now, if it's going to be a 3, then I already have 3 red marks. And if this is a 3, then these 2 yellows are going to be zeros to it. Okay? So that's another way that you could look at things. Okay, I try to give myself as much information as possible to make a decision on where I think these zeros are going to be. Okay, so for this one, I decided to go with orange. I think the 0 is going to be right here, and mostly because it's gone on a run of 9 drawings in a row, and for my $3, I don't think it's going to go 10. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of the orange numbers off of my game card, and they represent the 17 to the 24. Okay, so another reason why I'm picking this one is because I think more numbers are going to be to the high side than the low as well. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of the 20, the 23, and 24, and hopefully those 3 numbers do not come up. Okay, so moving on, I'm all set with updating here, so now I'm just going to move on to making my predictions here. So option card number 3, I decided to go with purple. So here's the purple, and as I scroll down, you can see that things have been pretty hot through here. And now I think the 0 is going to be right here. So I'm going to get rid of these purple numbers, and they represent the 66 to the 32 and the 33 to the 57. So I'm going to get rid of the 33 and 41, and hopefully those 2 numbers do not come up. Okay, so moving on, option card number 4. Here I went with a different way. Okay, I'm going to go with purple to hit. Okay, so as I scroll down, going to see that this is pretty blue here, and I'm going to predict that there's going to be a hit here. Okay, so I'm not going to speculate on whether it's going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. I just think it's going to be one of those numbers here. Okay, so let me go up and take a look at what they represent, and it represents the 1 to the 4 and the 37 to the 40. So far I got the 2, 37, 38, and 39 that I think will be coming up, okay? One of these, or even two, or maybe even all four of them might be coming up, okay? But I think one of these numbers will be coming up, okay? But we'll see what happens, okay? So moving on, option card number 5. I decided to go with no brown. So here's the brown, and as I scroll down, again, you can see that things have been pretty hot, and now I think the 0 is going to be right here. So I'm going to get rid of these brown numbers, and they represent the 4 corners, then the 4 middle. So I'll get rid of the 5 and the 29, and hopefully those 2 numbers do not come up. Okay, so moving on to number 6, I decided to go with blue. So here's the blue. Again, as I scroll down, you're going to see that things got pretty hot through here. And now I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. So I'll get rid of these blue, and they represent the 4, 11, 20, 27, that pattern all the way down. Okay, so you can see that I have no numbers to get rid of. Okay, so now I'd like to introduce you to the Group 2 overview. Now this hangs out in Group 1. And the reason why is because when I add a row here, everything goes up at the same time. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you is that this 424 matches up with the 50-50 picks at 424. Okay, so here you can see this 8-7 here. So what does that mean? Okay, so again, I have 15 option cards, which means I have 15 red areas, 15 blue, and so on. And on the left side is the hits, on the left side, on the right side is the misses. Okay, so out of 15 option cards, there was a winning Powerball number in 8 of the option cards with a red area. 7 option cards had no winning Powerball number in the red area. Okay, so the majority was won by hits, so I colored the background red for hot. Here, the majority was won by misses, so I colored the background blue for cold. So what I'm trying to do is correctly guess where these blue marks are going to be, because that tells me that there's going to be lots of misses in this certain color group. Okay, so I decided to say that I think there's going to be lots in the blue, lots in the orange, lots in the gray, and lots in the yellow. And I'm also thinking lots in the brown as well. Okay, so I'm going to look at those 5 color groups before I look at the red, green, and purple. Okay, so going back, one more thing that I wanted to point out is that the 60-60, okay? So again, I have 15 option cards, 8 options per option card, so 8 times 15 equals 120. So in the last drawing, there was 60 hits and 60 misses. Before that, it was 56-64. Okay, and there was more misses, so I colored the background blue. And here there was more hits, so I colored the background red. Okay, but you can see that how it fluctuates back and forth. Okay, and what I find is that the average comes out to about 3.8 to 4.2. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here is that on average, for all 15 of these option cards, 4 of these options are going to have a hit to it, and 4 of these options are going to have a miss to it. A statistical 50-50 guess. Okay, so here in option card number 6, I took blue. There were no numbers to get rid of. Okay, so I'm looking at this orange right here, and maybe the 0 will be here. I know there's going to be at least 3 of them. Okay, and maybe it will. But here's the thing. Let's just say I already got this blue one correct. Okay, now the odds of me getting a second one correct just go way up. Okay, not impossible, but still the odds go way up. So I designed this to move on to the next option card where I have that statistical 50-50 guess again. Okay, so here for option card number 7, let me start at the top. I decided to go with no brown, so here's the brown. Again, as I scroll down, you're going to see that things got pretty hot through here. and now I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. So I'm going to go with no brown, and they represent the 1, 10, 3, 12, that pattern all the way across. So I'll get rid of the 7, and hopefully that 7 does not come up. Okay, so moving on, option card number 8. Here I decided to go with yellow, so here's the yellow. Again, as I scroll down, you're going to see that things have been pretty hot over the lifetime here. And now I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. So I'm going to get rid of these yellow numbers, and they represent the 4, 9, 20, 65, that pattern all the way down. So I'll get rid of the 9, I get rid of the 65 and the 25 because the 25 shares the square with the 65. And that's it. So I'll get rid of those 3 numbers, and hopefully those 3 numbers do not come up. Okay, so moving on, option card number 9. I decided to go with yellow again, so here's the yellow. Again, you can see how hot things have been over the lifetime here. And now I'm hoping that the 0 will be right here. So again, I'm going to get rid of these yellow numbers, and they represent the pattern of the 12, 17 on the left side and 8, 29 on the right side. So I'm going to get rid of this 44, and hopefully the 44 does not come up. Okay, so moving on, option card number 10. I decided to go with no gray, so here's the gray. Again, as I scroll down, you're going to see that things have been pretty hot over the lifetime here. And now I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. So I'll get rid of these gray numbers, and they represent the 1728, that pattern of the 1728 in all 4 squares. So I'll get rid of the 53 and the 69 because it shares the square. And I'll get rid of those 2 numbers, and hopefully those 2 numbers do not come up. Okay, so moving on, option card 11. I'm going to go with blue, so here's the blue. Again, as I scroll down, you're going to see that things have been pretty hot over the lifetime here. And now I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. So I'm going to get rid of these blue numbers, and they represent the 7, 18, 36, 69. And I have no numbers to get rid of. Okay, so again, I'm going to move on to the next option card where I had that statistical 50-50 guess. Okay, so for option card 12, I decided to go with yellow, so here's the yellow. Again, as I scroll down, you're going to see that things have been pretty consistently hot here, so I'm going to predict that the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these yellow numbers, and they look like a crescent moon from the 3 to the 27 and the 39 to the 63. So I'm going to get rid of the 39 and 48, and hopefully those 2 numbers do not come up. Okay, so moving on, option card 13. Again, I have 15 of these option cards, so I'm almost done. So here for 13, I decided to go with yellow again, so here's the yellow. And again, as I scroll down through, you're going to see that things got pretty hot through here, so I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these yellow numbers. This looks like a crescent moon as well, from the 1 to the 4 and the 37 to the 40. So I'm going to get rid of the 37 and the 47. And hopefully those 2 numbers do not come up. Okay, so moving on to option card 14. I decided to go with brown again, so here's the brown. And as I scroll down, you're going to see that things have been pretty hot through here. So now I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. I'm going to get rid of these brown numbers, and they represent the 21 to the 31, and the 52 to the 68. So I'm going to get rid of the 30, 31, 58, and 68. So I'm going to get rid of those four numbers, and hopefully those four numbers do not come up. Okay, so this will bring me down to five numbers here. Okay, so I'm just going to go over the last one here, option card 15. You take a look at it. So this is what option card number 15 looks like. And these are the numbers to get rid of. Okay, so going back to the game card here, I'm going to go with these five numbers. Again, it's the 2, 34, 38, 45, and 55. Okay, so I'm just going to highlight these real quick. Now, when it comes to the 50-50 picks here, I thought there was going to be more even numbers than odd, so the 2, 34, 38 will make that happen. More to the high side, the 34, 38, 45 will make that happen in the 55. More to the right, the 38, 45, 55 will make that happen. And more to the red, the 2, 38, 45, 55 will make that happen. Okay, so I think Sherlock Holmes said it the best when he said it's a matter of deduction. So if these blocked out numbers don't come up, then these five highlighted numbers have to come up. So now it comes down to, what are the odds that I made all the correct picks? Well, let me go over the official odds. To get the grand prize, you need all five white ball numbers and the red ball, and the odds of doing that are 1 in 292 million. Okay, my goal is to get all five white balls correct, and what I mean by that is that the game is geared up for the white balls. I love to win the grand prize, of course. Now, just to get the five white balls correct, the odds are 1 in 11,688,000. Okay, so in other words, you can make nearly 12 million five-number combinations out of 69 numbers. Okay, so I don't want to give any kind of illusions that this is going to be easy to win. Okay, another great prize to win would be four white ball numbers and a red ball. That pays 50,000 plus the power play if you play it. You can see that the odds are just about 1 in a million. Okay, so I wanted to give myself some perspective, and that is, if I spend $3 per drawing, there's 2 drawings per week, so I will gamble and most likely lose, because the odds are so steep, $312 per year playing my game Decoding the Powerball. Okay, so some people in the past have asked me, hey, if you think you're going to lose $300 a year, then why do you even play? Well, one is, I think we all agree that in order to win, you need to play. Okay, and for me, I'd just rather pick my own destiny than take it a quick pick or an easy pick. Okay, so it's just that simple. So moving on, I do have something for the Powerball number itself. Okay, so over here, well, first I want to say that there's 26 red ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. So over here, I just divided the numbers in 2 in this column. So if you see a blue number, that's low, 1 to 13. If you see a red number, that's high, 14 to 26. Over here in this column, I divided the numbers into odds and evens. So if you see a red number, that's odds. If you see a blue number, that's evens. Now this green mark tells me that the Powerball repeated. So you can see that the 24 came up, then it came up, and then it came up again. Okay. So over here, I like to break things down into 5 again. So here the majority was low numbers, 3 drawings to 2. So looking at this, I'm going to say that this is going to go 4 to 1. So I already got 4 right here. So I'm going to predict that this one is going to be blue. So I think it's going to be a low number, 1 to 13. And over here, I think that this is going to be blue as well. Okay, it's been a long time before a 4 to 1 has come up, and my guess is that this is going to be 4 to 1 as well. So 4 blue marks. Okay, so I think the Powerball number will be an even number. So I think it will be a low even number. Okay, And I decided to go with the Powerball number 12. Okay, so my guess is that the Powerball numbers will be the 2, 34, 38, 45, 55, and the Powerball 12. Okay, so in closing, I just want to thank you for watching. Again, you can get my game through my Patreon page at patreon.com/decoding the Powerball. Okay, and if you'd like to give me any feedback, then please email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Again, that's just decodingpowerball@gmail.com. And as always, I want to wish you the best of luck with your picks.